Hello and welcome to the Level Cap Podcast. I'm your host, D. Brad Talton Jr., together with my cohort, Margo DeSantos, also known as the Mechanic Critic. Today we're going to drop some brand new face of the Level Cap Podcast directly onto the Blue Plate Special that is your podcast service.
I hate everything, and you forgot to say otherwise. Therefore, your intro is obsolete, and therefore inferior to any intro I have made.
Well, perhaps that's so, Marco, but let's begin with the brand new exciting segment that we have to bring to you today, which is, What Are We Playing?
What have you been playing? Oh, the world is so boring. If only my parents never died. I'm such a handsome and rich billionaire and all the girls want me, but I can never experience love.
Well, that just sounds terrible. As for me, well, back on the farm when I was growing up, we used to play all sorts of games, and the games we liked were puzzle games. I've been playing a downright darn tootin' puzzle game most recently, Leighton Mystery Journals. This is the handheld version of the Professor Layton series, latest in a long line of games. And I tell you, it's pretty good.
Oh, really? Tell me what's so exciting about this silly little game of yours.
Well, have you ever been sitting down, at the train station or at the courthouse or, in the back of a patrol car and you're just like, well, wish I could do some puzzles right now. Well, if you do, then Professor Layton got your back. And I know you felt the same as I felt in that, nothing makes a bad situation feel better like a little puzzle, Only one thing can revive a guy, and that is a piece of puzzle pie. Serve it up. Nice and hot.
The pain
Maybe
I
things weren't as bad as you thought.
Every note that comes out of your throat causes me pain.
Well, you should have that looked at.
Yeah. But I don't need any of that, for I have the power of darkness within me. So, what's this latent, silly stuff all about? Puzzles. What kind of puzzles? How many stabs does it take to get to the center of a heart of a man?
Well, that's rather morbid of you, but I think you got about the right gist of it. So, my friend Marco, why don't you tell us about what you've been playing recently?
I have no time for games.
Well, that's going to make this podcast mighty difficult.
Yeah, the Level Cap podcast is no longer about any games. I have gathered enough darkness energy in order to make sure that no games shall be played. You will cease to play Leighton Mysteries, Western Brad.
You say so. I mean, I'm like pulling out my phone right now. I don't know if it's
darkness energy. Go.
No. You just gotta connect up the little paths with the ghosts, and then they get together, and this is
It seems that I'm not strong enough.
I don't know that it's doing anything. Well, I don't know what to tell you, Marco.
How
Maybe
long are we going to keep
more
this
games.
up? My goodness.
You broke down first this time. That's good.
Dang, I couldn't. It's like it comes so naturally to you, but being edgy and dark, it's just not me. The true me is a sunshine prince who loves the color yellow, loves frolicking in the Sundays and kissing babies on the cheek because they're adorable.
Well, that's quite a change in your demeanor.
Oh no, I think we broke Brad. I think he's permanently Southern now.
Well, it seems like we were just talking about what kind of games you were playing, Marco, so why don't you hit us with the games?
Okay.
But it's
oh my gosh, no, but seriously, the game I've been playing is a really interesting mobile game called Mystery of Fortune 2 Fortune Chronicles Episode 8. Okay, now I know the title sounds utterly atrocious, and it's true, but here's the thing. You don't need to have played any of the previous, assuming 7 episodes, to be able to get this game. Because this game is simple. You just gather a bunch of guys, and you grind through levels, and then you recruit more guys, and then you level them up, give them different jobs, and assign them different skills. It's not necessarily a real-time strategy game. It's kind of like... how do I explain it? It's kind of like the characters fight on their own, but you can program each individual party member with specific AI. So each party member can be assigned 5 slots wherein they will have a condition and then a thing they do if that condition is fulfilled. So that way you can program kind of how each character works. It's pretty interesting. The mechanics are relatively simple, but the sheer fact that there are 20-something job classes for you to make, and the fact that you can have 12 units in your party, it kind of has this really awesome feel of Final Fantasy Tactics meets casual mobile game, where you can just mindlessly grind while performing a very excellent and well thought out strategy, and it gets pretty fun. I guess it kind of feels somewhat like Final Fantasy Tactics, or maybe some of the old Suikoden games. Suikoden? How do you pronounce that word?
Suikoden. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're the one who knows Japanese. How is it pronounced?
Well, I've only seen the English title, so I can't say.
Oh, that's true. All right, so that's the game I've been playing. And no, but seriously, without all of the edgelords and all of the westerns, how's Leighton Mysteries on the phone?
Oh, it's good. It's real good. Like I said, whenever you're like, oh, I wish I could do a puzzle right now, it's got a new puzzle for you. So.
Oh, does it randomly generate puzzles? So does it give you a puzzle every day? Is that how?
No. It's not random, but they do post new puzzles pretty regularly.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but all the Leighton games have been like that. They always have a puzzle, a puzzle post where you can download more puzzles from the internet.
Yeah, but this is on your phone, right? Which is
right. So it's all the convenience of that you've ever wanted out of Leighton.
Yeah. Okay. I've tried getting into Leighton games myself. I'm notoriously bad at puzzles. That puzzle. I think one of the Leighton games has you do the puzzle wherein there are 3 characters. You need to get to the opposite side of the river. There's only one boat, and you can only take one of them at a time. You know that puzzle?
Yeah.
I'm bad at that. I could never finish it without doing brute force. So yeah, when my friends found out that I brute forced that puzzle, they were like, Marco, that's a puzzle a grade 5 student can solve. I'm like, shut up, man.
I mean, it's not bad, but it's I mean, the fun part about Leighton is that they do give you visual tools, or they give you the toys to play out a bunch of these puzzles. So I like the ones where you can try and just move things around until you get it right. So I also solve the puzzle by just trying to figure out that by moving the boat around rather than by trying to calculate it all.
Oh.
I think that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I think it is part of the fun. I think Leighton is the kind of game that, how do I describe it? It's something kids can enjoy, but older people can still enjoy. I mean, people our age can still enjoy.
It's really all ages.
Yeah, it's a wonderful... I love the aesthetic. I love the music to Leighton and all that stuff.
Leighton's $15. I mean, that's premium for an iOS app, but the game is certainly worth it. It's one of I'd say, the prettiest Leighton games yet. It's got full CGI cutscenes, full voice acting. The puzzles are lots of fun. The characters are great. You play as Leighton's daughter, Catriel.
Oh, I love her design.
Is a new character in the Leighton, lore, the Leighton mythos.
The Leighton mythos, the Leighton verse, if you will.
Yeah, the Leighton verse is a pretty cool place. I kind of wish I lived there.
Yeah, I kind of wish I lived there too, wherein every obstacle in my life can be solved by solving some arbitrarily inconsequential puzzle.
You're like, man, I sure would like a coffee, and someone's like, well, I'll give you a coffee if you solve this puzzle for me, and then bam.
Exactly. Or puzzles. You're with your dad or something, you're like, gee willikers, I failed my math class. I wish I had passed. You know what, Marco, that reminds me of a puzzle. And then after solving that, I magically graduate. It's like... what?
No, that's Oendon. That's not Leighton at all.
Oh, man.
Have you ever played Oendon?
No. What's
You
that
got to
game?
look this up. It's called Osutatakai Oendan. It's about Japanese male cheerleaders,
Oh my
and
gosh. Is
they
is
actually have that exact scene where this kid's like struggling with his math homework, and he's like help, oh, and done, and then they come and they start cheering for him, and like by the end of the song he's graduated from high school.
yeah, no dude, this is basically Elite Beat Agents, right?
Yeah, it's the Japanese version of it. They didn't think they could localize Oendan, so Elite Beat Agents is Oendan. It's the same game.
Dude, I love that. I love that game. My favorite song is September, and because there is this entire scene where a mom and a kid want to have a picnic, and it starts raining, and they cheer the rain away. Come on,
Mhm.
best game
Yeah.
series
Oh
ever.
man, Oendan's so good. I haven't played Elite Beat Agents, unfortunately, but I assume it's about the same thing.
Yeah, it's probably the same. I mean, like the songs are probably English songs that you know this time, but like
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Okay.
it's a fun game. So yeah, I think we talked about 3 games. We should have just talked about Elite Beat Agent / Owendon then.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You want to move on to our next segment, Brad?
Yeah. Let's move on to our next segment.
So moving on to our next segment. By the way, to all of you guys listening, the reboot is just it doesn't really change a lot, but it just means that Brad and I are even more dedicated to giving you guys the kind of content you want to hear and the kind of accents you want us to do while giving you said content. So if you guys want us to
Mostly, it's about a new logo.
yeah, mostly it's about a new logo, better graphics, and better delivery, and hopefully more stuff that you guys want to hear from us. Again, we want your feedback, so put them in the comment section down below, and we will adjust because that's our job to make the delivery of these hot-baked news into your ears that much more pleasant.
Anyway, so let's talk about our character of the week.
Yeah, and our character of the week for this week is Brad.
Malandrax Meki.
Meki?
Meki.
Isn't it Met? I thought it was like Mechi. I thought it was that.
Okay, sure. If that's what you want it to be, it's Mechi now.
Wait, really? Ah, yes, I can change the canon, the power.
But yeah, so Malandrax is is the character of the week. He is a bit of a mad scientist who works for the Overlord Rexon, and he was resurrected by Hepzibah, much like Rexon. However, instead of bringing back a complete person as Malandrax, she decided to kind of like piecemeal a bunch of things together, and so. He actually has the soul of Aaron Ross, this brilliant scientist who created Carolyn and who mentored Lixus, who was killed around that same time. So anyway, brilliant genius dies far north. Hepzibah was like, well, it turns out we need a brilliant genius on our side, and so she resurrects one, but without all of his memories, without all of his past life. Basically as a new person, but with the same spirit.
That's a nice scientist. I think I will take it. That's
Yeah. So that's the backstory for him. So he has like little hints of memories of who he was before, but he doesn't really know that he was anything before this.
okay. So does the way Malandrax looks now, the way Aaron Ross used to look before, is he like literally the same person just without the memories?
No, he looks different. No.
Okay, so they just took the soul.
Yeah, it's really just that kind of essence and not the not any any physical traits at all. They didn't have his body or anything.
Oh, I see.
So anyway, but coming back from the world of the dead has weird effects on people. Like for Sherry, she has that weird like psionic kind of part to her now where she can sense things. Rexon also has this strange supernatural aura about him, and Malandrax is no different, but it's much less prominent with him, just because Hepzibah got good in the meantime of all these resurrections. Like Rexon's a lot better resurrected than Cherry was, and Malandrax is even better resurrected than Rexon was.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So
So
what does Malandrax do? So like, what does this undead scientist essentially do? What can he do in this world of Indians?
So currently, he is building weapons for the Overlord, updating technologies in Gesselheim, the country they live in, and he is basically trying to modernize the country and prepare them for some potential war with the North. So, for example, he built their train engine, which they use in Imperial. It's
Oh,
called the Black Dragon, and that's the big diesel punk type engine that this country has. So
that's
he
funny.
has some off-screen presence in Imperial Spells and Steam. He is working on some kind of secret project, and nobody really knows what it is yet. People believe it's some kind of weapon, but nobody quite knows except for Rexon himself, who ordered that they start building it.
I see. I see.
So we don't really know what Malandrax's end game is at this point
Is it related to
in the story.
biomancy? I guess. I mean, like that's Aaron Ross's
Mm,
specialty, right?
it was, yeah, was homunculi and biomancy, but we don't know yet what it is. But it could be.
A weapon to surpass Metal Gear. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Um,
confirmed canon. He's making Metal Gear. That's what he's doing.
but yeah, so that's basically Malandrax. Let's see, he really dislikes Hepzibah like a whole bunch, and
I don't like you,
the
Mom.
reason that he built all these traps was to keep her out of his laboratory. So all these traps are actually anti-Hepzibah traps.
Okay,
Um,
so his fighting style in BattleCon, wherein he lays down these traps, are literally in fiction. They're supposed to be. Oh, so Malandrax never fights outside his lab. Essentially, is what it means, right?
well, he does. So he has. I mean, in canon, no. Like he doesn't go out and travel the world like some of the other characters.
Yeah.
But he has that big bag that he carries on his backpack, and in that he stores a lot of portable traps, reagents, etc. It's kind of like an alchemist bag of holding.
An
Um,
alchemist bag of
but
holding. I see.
yeah, but more in the sense that like you step into it and there's a laboratory inside.
Oh, so it's like a wormhole portable alchemist workshop.
Yeah, kind of like that.
I see. I see. That's
Yeah,
interesting. That's interesting. So
and
that's where
it'll
he.
open up to full size if you want to, like have like an actual real space.
So how much of Malandrax is based off Faust?
Not that much really.
Oh, really?
Um,
Interesting.
yeah, no, they're not too related to each other.
Okay. Sorry.
Malandrax is one of the original characters that I made for the Argent RPG, and he's evolved quite a bit since then. But
Oh.
originally, he was concepted as like the basic technomancy student, which is why a lot of the tech student miniatures in Argent kind of look like him.
Oh, that explains it.
But eventually he kind of took on his own role and became his own character. Um,
Oh, that makes
so
sense.
so, but there's still some throwback of that.
Yeah, with Aaron Ross being biomancy and
Yeah.
a lot of alchemy stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
Now you could see like some of the influences that he had on the design of the technomancy department in Argent. Is I guess what I mean, like in the way that they look.
Oh.
But anyway, why don't you tell us about gameplay in
Ooh.
BattleCon?
I'll tell you about gameplay, but before I do so, he's human. So does he have wild magic, or do resurrected people not have wild magic anymore?
He has one minor ability, magic ability. He doesn't use a lot of magic. He does do alchemy, so he does know magic, but not like
Fireball.
sorcery or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing he can do is he can touch a metal object and see through it for a short time afterwards. So he
Ooh.
can like transfer vision to metal items, and that's a very minor wild magic power, but it's something that is useful when you're setting up a bunch of traps, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have iron crates or whatever, yeah, that's fun. I often find that playing Malandrax. Let's move on to gameplay. Malandrax is essentially this weird setup based fighter. So in a game like a regular fighting game, there's a lot of characters that you call setup characters, and they're usually these characters who have projectiles, slow-moving projectiles, or have a lot of moves and techniques that place opponents in situations wherein they have to make tough decisions. And by exploiting those setups repeatedly, that's how you get your damage, that's how you get your good moves out, that's how you do punishments to the opponent. And Malandrax plays exactly like that. A lot of people make the big mistake of thinking that Malandrax is some tricksy ranger / keep away character because of the alarm trap. But what they fail to realize is that Malandrax's biggest power is the ability to force people into a specific board state, and then the opponent just gets scared to do anything. Because if they retreat, this trap will trigger. But if they advance, that trap will trigger. But if they stay still, this trap will trigger. And it kind of forces your opponent to make tough decisions, right? Whether I want to move or not, whether I want to advance or retreat. And Malandrax just loves it when you start getting confused as to what you need to do. Because while you're troubling over whether or not there's a trap in the space in front of you, behind you, or on your space, Malandrax will hit you while you're too concerned about that. Malandrax often spends his time... Because his unique ability has him place one trap, right? Face down. But the thing is, he has 4 traps, and your opponent knows what triggers each one. So when you place that one trap down, it effectively is all the traps at the same time if your opponent is reducing it to that manner. So it often limits their play space a lot. And Malandrax has very poor stats, but abuses that limitation of play space in order to get his damage and force opponents into unfavorable positions. And
if you're the kind of player that likes that intimidation play, or like making your opponents, be worried about what you're doing, then he's definitely got that going on.
Yeah, that's Malandrax for you. A lot of his effects are kooky and kind of overly specific. There he has a move called Calculated, right? Wherein he will deal bonus damage if the damage you dealt is equal to the range you are from your opponent. So Malandrax also has a lot of movement manipulation and specific numbers that he has to meet. So not only does he do this entire intimidation with traps, but it falls into line with his gameplay and theme of being this calculating mastermind, right? Basically, Malandrax makes it makes you feel like the A team, right? So like after you do a good Malandrax beat and deal 6 or 8 damage to an opponent because you did calculated master plan correctly, you wipe the dust off your nose and you go like, I love it when the plan comes together.
I don't know if I've ever done that, but I guess I could see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the hey, look, don't judge the way I play Malandrax.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I can be Mr. T if I want. I can be Mr. T Malandrax. I pity the fool who steps into my alarm trap, or something like that. But yeah,
so
that's that's how he is. No, not the Mr. T, but like that setup play, that intimidation play, that's the crux to Malandrax. A lot of characters do have a tough time dealing with all of his stuff, and he is a very powerful character. I underestimated Malandrax when I made the battle guides for him, but it turns out that a lot of people in the community have proven me wrong, and there's a lot of Malandrax trap setups that I didn't know about back then that could end up with Malandrax dealing upwards of 8 damage. It was insane. So props to all of these people who have found out all this Malandrax tech. And if you're looking for a character that is fun, is setup reliant, and is complex enough, I think he's a very complex character, but he's not complicated. He doesn't really do a lot, but he technically has a lot of depth to him. So if you like a character that you can really unpack after you spend a few games with them in the lab, so to speak, Malandrax is the guy for you.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty valid assessment.
Yeah. So before we end this segment, Brad, can you tell me one thing about Malandrax's personal life? Just one thing.
Yeah. He keeps a lot of journals. He writes extensively about his experiences, and whenever he's got free time, which is not very often, he works all the time, but he does a lot of journal keeping.
I see. Wait, this brings to question something. So he's not a homunculus, right? Or is he? Like he's a resurrected dead person. So did Hepzibah just put Aaron Ross's soul into some lifeless corpse or something?
It's not totally clear.
This is one of
Types
those.
of his magic is pretty weird, but she doesn't make undead. She makes real live people.
Okay, we need to talk about
so
Vivimancy
she's
more.
not a necromancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to talk about Vivimancy more in another episode. Maybe when we talk about
There's too many spoilers associated with that art. Can't ever tell you about it.
Uh-oh. All right. So that pretty much does it for our Character of the Week segment featuring Malandrax Mitchie. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And if you guys want to have a specific Character of the Week, do tell us in the comment section down below because we will get that Character of the Week to you as soon as we can. But before doing that, because that will probably be in another episode, let's move on to our next segment. Our 99 questions, where we have already reached the 99th question, and that was in the previous episode, so I'm really glad.
It's time for a reset.
It's a reset. So we're going back to question number 1, and then after that, we'll do another gritty third season reboot, even grittier than the reboot we did this time.
Yeah, I you gotta be careful with season 3.
Gotta be careful with season 3. Why? Why do we have to be careful?
Have you ever watched Arrow?
Oh, the burn! Oh gosh. Okay, if any of our listeners are from Arrow, like you participated in the making of this show, we're sorry, but Brad does have a point. Okay.
I'm just throwing shade. Don't mind me.
All right.
Let's get on with the news.
Okay.
Or with the questions.
With the questions. All right. Here's one question that I think is pretty funny. Will there be a vampire vegan communist card in the next Millennium Blades?
Well, I'll tell you, that question is so easy, I'm going to let Marco answer it.
Yes!
All right, next question.
There you go, listener. That's it. It's canon now. You heard it on the podcast. All right. Now let's go on to more lore stuff. People have been asking a lot about lore recently.
Yep.
There is a vault under Argent. Is it one of the vaults that connects to the underworld, Underland, like the one in the Black Spire?
No, it is not. There's the vault under Argent is just a big storage vault. There may be some kind of secret underground necropolis or something. It's unclear, but it's not one of the Spire vaults.
I see. Why does Argent have this giant vault? Is that just where they keep all their magical, powerful artifacts?
Yeah, basically. I mean, Argent is like its own city almost, in terms of like how they govern themselves, and so they have a lot of money flowing in. They have their own wealth, and they got to store it somewhere.
Oh, so it's like their literal national vault.
Kind of.
I see. That's interesting. And this one, all of these questions are Argent-based. So, what is the story of the former Chancellor Bewi? B-E-W-I? Why did he leave and why did
Chancellor Bewi?
Yeah. Why did he leave and why did the Consortium choose Nostros to replace him? Before, of course, Riflum replaces Nostros.
So, I have to search my lore book, which I have open right here. So my understanding is that Bewi abandoned that post in order to go back to Willat and become a Magister.
Oh, he's a Magister of Willat now.
Yeah. So that's what happened to Chancellor Bewi.
I see.
As to why they picked Nostros, Nostros is kind of shrouded in mystery, and we don't know a lot about him.
Like with most characters in Argent.
Yeah, but him specifically, like, he came from the other continent, wherever that is. He's just a really good sorcerer. So he's actually an illusionist, is his school training.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in the Department of Sorcery, if he were just a teacher. And yeah, I mean, I think he he applied for the job and won the first time, probably through a consortium vote, just like this one.
Just like in Argent. Just like what happens in Argent. Quick question, since you mentioned that Bewi is now a Magister, which of the Organization 13 members does he sponsor?
That I think is not known because there are a lot that still haven't been revealed,
So it's not
or
one
that
of
haven't been well defined yet.
Okay, so it's not one of the ones that we know. So it's not Clinhyde, it's not Otavia, it's not Burgundy, it's not Seven. I think those are the ones. Yeah. All right. So that pretty much does it for this segment, where we asked Brad some lore questions, and he gave us acceptable answers. And by the way, there will be a vegan communist vampire in the next Millennium Blades canon.
Okay.
I love how
was that only 2 questions? Did we get the third question?
Is that it? We did 3. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unless you don't count vegan vampire communist, you want to do another one?
Well, if you have more questions, we can answer another question. It felt like a short segment. That's all.
All right. No, we can answer one more. This is the new reboot, Brad. We can do 4 questions.
We do 4 questions in the new series.
Yeah.
33% more questions.
Yes. All right. How about this one? So, keeping in line with Nostra's story, if Nostros is from the Eastern Seas and the other continent, and supposedly this continent's like mystical and nobody knows a lot about it, why hasn't Nostros said anything about the continent, and why doesn't he share knowledge about what this continent's about?
Well, then it wouldn't be mystical anymore, would it?
Oh.
I mean, why ruin a good thing?
I don't want to tell you the secret because it wouldn't be a secret anymore.
Yeah. Besides, I mean, it's well, I don't know, but Nostros is not a cartographer or anything.
I see.
It could be that they don't know much about how the other continent looks like. Maybe there is no other continent. Maybe he is from another dimension, or from the depths of the sea, or the underlands, or outer space.
Or he's a ghost.
Yeah, maybe he's a ghost. I mean, like all we know is that him and Lucas both claim to be from this other continent that nobody's ever visited.
Oh, even Lucas. Lucas is the fabulous evil wizard.
Mysticism, yeah, the fabulous evil wizard.
Right.
They both claim to be from this other continent. So who can say? Who could say?
Yeah. Indians needs to learn how to traverse continents better. Like this is a big problem.
Well,
during
the plot of Fate and Trials and Wanderers, as a side to this plot, Hikaru actually does get on a boat and try and sail to the new continent.
Oh, Christopher Columbus style.
Yeah, well, not even Columbus style. Probably more like Magellan style.
Ferdinand Magellan style. All right.
Maybe there's something over there. Let's go sailing.
Yeah, Spice Islands. Accidentally end up in the Philippines.
He doesn't know. What he's gonna hit. But so they so after the Relic Hunters arc, which is Fate, Trials, and Wanderers, we might learn what is over there when he gets back.
That's awesome. All right, so that pretty much does it for our new revamped segment called 99 Questions, where we answer 4 questions instead of 3. So let's move on to our last segment, our News 99, where we will deliver that hot baked news directly into the podcast palette that is your ears. Brad, help me here. Help me.
What?
Tag, help.
What do you want from me?
Assist.
What do you want? I don't even know what's happening. Make
a better tag for our News 99. Make a better slogan for it. Or something.
Oh, okay. Cool. We're going to deliver, fresh press news into the, what is it? I guess, the deck box that is your inbox. I don't know. I was trying to go with like the news is on cards, but it just wasn't happening for me no matter what I tried.
Okay, we can workshop this, but let's start from there. We'll go to our
the news segment. We'll just call it the new news segment.
The new news
without any ceremony at all.
Yeah, okay. The new news segment. All right, Brad, give us some new news.
Well, the new news, so Argent the Consortium has ended. The Kickstarter campaign is over.
It was successful.
But you can still... Yes, it was very successful. And you can still pledge for Argent on Pledge Manager. Shipping is free in even more places because now we've added a lot of places in Asia. Like we
Oh,
managed to get China free, Philippines, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan down to like $10, $12.
that's
Um,
amazing.
like we've done a lot of yeah, we got some great options in Asia now, which is really cool.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, so that's up. You can still get your copy if you haven't done that yet.
yep.
And then next, our next big thing is going to be Temporal Odyssey. So we are planning to release a, I guess, digital preview of this game. You can play Temporal Odyssey on Tabletop Simulator through our Discord server. So you just jump on there and you can get the Tabletop Simulator link and play some Temporal Odyssey. Leave us feedback, help us do any final balancing tweaks or wording updates or clarifications that we got to do. And we're probably going to bring this to Kickstarter around the middle to end of September. So look out for that.
Do you remember the very first night of September? I love Temporal Odyssey. A lot of people are getting confused because the name changed all of a sudden.
Yes, the name changed again. So this is Terran Encounters.
Yeah.
We renamed it to Temporal Odyssey because it's more about time than terrain, back as it was when it was created. And it's really more of an odyssey than an encounter. So now it's Temporal Odyssey.
It is literally what it says on the tin, right?
Because the first game in the series that CGC did was called Terran Odyssey, and so they wanted to make Terran Encounters, the drafting version, like tie into that. But instead it ended up being about timelines, and so instead of being about the world like Terran Odyssey was, it's now about the timelines. So it's Temporal Odyssey. I was against the name change, but the designer felt really strongly about it, and I was like, okay, whatever, sure, let's do it.
Okay, whatever.
So now we have it.
All
so
right.
now it's Temporal Odyssey.
I think we found your weak spot, Brad. You're a pushover when it comes to names. Like, I just literally changed the name of one of your characters right now in this podcast, so...
Well, I'll just keep saying Mackie. I mean, it's like, whatever.
Whatever. Oh no, I just said it in that voice. Okay.
Whatever, Marco.
Oh my gosh. Okay, no, but seriously, I'll get rid of that. I do a pretty good that accent. I don't know what it's called. It's like
the Valley accent.
The Valley sassy girl accent. I do a pretty decent one. Okay, but I have news. I have some news. If you have no more.
Yeah, Marco, tell us about your news.
Well, my news is going to be we're really approaching the release of Pixel Tactics Online. And instead of doing preview videos wherein, I just do this cool little trailer for this leader and their hero counterpart, I'll be putting more full-length gameplay videos. So do tell me if you want the gameplay videos to be commentated or not. I know some people are into commentated videos and some people are into like pure gameplay without commentary. So tell me what you want and that's what I will provide. The games of Pixel Tactics can take as short as 10 minutes or as long as 20 minutes, depending on the kinds of decks you're playing. So you'll see a pretty big range of the kind of strategies and the kind of tactics, that we can take in Pixel Tactics Online. Aside from
my vote's going to be for commentated because there's nothing like I can watch a video of somebody playing a game, but I can't go anywhere to watch a video of somebody playing a game with Marco's voiceovers.
Oh, all right. Then you will.
So.
That's one vote towards having the dulcet tones of Marco on top of your Pixel Tactics Online. Yeah. It'll be the metaphorical gravy on our mashed potatoes. So do tell me in the comment section what you guys want, and I'll provide you the content that you want and that you crave. But aside,
pixelized mashed potatoes sound kind of dangerous. Like. You cut your mouth on that.
Yeah, imagine biting into that and then the corner chips into the middle of your teeth.
They only got so small, the mashed potatoes, and then there's just the pixels. And
yeah, that sounds gross.
And then you have potato pixels. Yeah,
that sounds pretty gross. All right, and that pretty much does it for our new news segment, wherein it's just new and it's all about the news.
There's news, yeah. There was no otherwise this week.
Yeah, there was no otherwise this week.
Sorry, Marco.
No, it's okay. Remember, I already complained about it earlier. Oh, nope, Shadow Marco's coming back. See, this is what happens when you don't do the otherwise. It's kind of like the payment I have to pay. Like, I have to say the otherwise or else Marco comes out. No, here he goes again. So
All right. Well,
we
do we have any more segments, or is that it? I can't remember. Is there
oh
anything new in the new Level Cap podcast?
yes, we actually have one final segment, Brad. Are you ready to hear about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me about this final segment.
This final segment is the goodbye segment. So welcome to our goodbye segment where we say goodbye. Of course, it has been me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as Mechanic Critic, and also Edge Marco.
We always did the goodbye segment. This is not.
No, this is
anything
new
at all.
because we named it.
Yeah, but just because you name something you're doing already, it doesn't make it new.
No, but it makes the name new.
Not really. I mean, this is like patenting fire. You're just not adding anything. Sorry.
All right. So you want me to make a new segment, like just now, from the top of my dome?
I don't know. Why don't we do the Marco? What should we make Marco do? How about we make Marco?
This is the new
know.
segment called
The new segment.
Marco Impresses. Okay, this is a new segment called Marco Impresses. And each week, Brad will give me a BattleCon character or a Indians lore character, and I will attempt to make an impression of them.
We'll see. We'll see if we end up doing that.
All right. Tell us in the comment section if you want that, because
if you want that, yeah, help us come up with a new segment. I think that's the real takeaway here is help us come up with a new segment for the new podcast
that you guys will enjoy.
For the new season of the podcast, yeah.
That you guys will enjoy.
And
we're putting it in your hands.
Do it.
We're putting it in your hands. Help us make the show better for you, because this show is for you and me and the entire human race. Oh my gosh. So let's do the last segment. Can we do the last segment now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So this is the goodbye segment where we say thank you so much for watching and listening to the Level Cap podcast, where we show you guys all level 99 game stuff or otherwise. As usual, this has been me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as the Mechanic Critic, and with me is my splendiferous co-host,
Brad Talton, also known as D. Brad Talton Jr.
D, like the letter, not the.
Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah, like the letter.
Yeah. And we will
anyway
see/hear from all of you guys next week. Happy gaming.
See you then. Happy gaming.